Now, since the documentary aired on Friday, everyone has been talking about Michael Jackson. That's dominated the news headlines. We've been wanting to speak to somebody from the Jackson camp, and we've tracked down Michael Jackson's niece, Autumn Jackson, who joins us live on the show right now. Welcome, Autumn.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for taking the time, especially after the recent controversy and the documentary that has aired, Leaving Neverland, which has, I suppose, shaken the world in terms of Jackson fans and also people that wanted to find out exactly what was going on from these two boys that spoke on the documentary. We just wanted to check in with the Jackson camp and see how they're doing. Now, as the niece of Michael Jackson, what has the family had to say regarding this?
I can't really speak on behalf of my whole family, and unless they, designated me as a spokesperson.
Sure.
But of course, you can imagine that this is very upsetting for all of us. The truth has been suppressed, obviously, and it's definitely a one-sided documentary that failed to give any type of evidence. So yeah, it's just, we're doing all that we can to get the facts out there. And when I say me, it's just not my family. It's our extended family of supporters as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a tricky one. I mean, obviously, you knew Michael, and for the fans around the world, to hear the sort of detail that these two blokes went into was extremely confronting. Did you guys have a heads up prior to the documentary being released at the Sundance Film Festival? Did you know that something like this was going to come out?
I surely didn't, and it seems like it was kept a secret for as long as it possibly could. By the time that we found out about it, it was really too late to do anything about it.
Autumn, how close were you to your uncle? Were you around Neverland quite a bit? Did you get to see him quite a bit before he passed?
When I was younger as a kid, I saw him quite a bit. I'd been to Neverland before. I moved to New York very early in my adult life as well. So no, I hadn't seen him that much in my adult life, but as a child, as a kid, yes.
Did you ever get to meet Wade or James, who was in sort of Michael's life at the time? Did you get to meet those guys?
No, I never met them before.
Okay. Right.
I'd love to know, in the stressful times like this would be for the family, and your dad being Jermaine, do you sit down with Dad and have conversations about this, or do you just kind of collectively know that you don't agree with any of these accusations?
Well, it's a little bit of both. We've been down this road before, and it's one of those things where we kind of already know what the motive is. We know what's happening, and we talk about it, but it's not really super in depth. It's not shocking for us, to tell you the truth. Is it damaging? Of course, it could be, especially when you have all the media sources acting like, this is fact. I just don't understand the integrity of journalism today, especially when you can easily fact check 5-10 minutes on the internet and know that these things aren't true. So for me, that's quite frustrating, but it's never a good feeling for anybody, regardless if it's this family or not, to have a loved one being lied upon and people just, going with these fabrications as if they were facts.
Did you watch the full documentary, Autumn?
I did not give HBO my ratings, but I did look at it through a live stream on Twitter.
Autumn, I've seen the documentary, and a lot of the details were really confronting. What do you think about those details?
Yeah, I think it's a mess. I think that, first of all, having all details does not make something true. Mm-hmm. We're missing the evidence, just like we're missing all the emotion and the crying. To my understanding, when a survivor is speaking about their account of sexual abuse, tears are all over the place. It doesn't matter how far you are removed, from the situation, whether it was child abuse or not, or when you realized it or not. It's a hard subject to talk about. So, yeah, I think that we're missing a lot there. And just because they spoke on it does not mean it's a fact. As a matter of fact, Victor Gutierrez, who had written a book called Michael Jackson Was My Lover, and he talked about child wedding, and it seems like a lot of James Dave Chuck's story was borrowed from the book itself. And to give a background on Victor Gutierrez, he was actually sued by my uncle because he said that there was a sex tape, and there actually was not. So he got sued for $2.7 million, and he fled to Chile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Autumn, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. Ever since I was young, I did a lot of what many people did. They'd come home, we'd put Michael Jackson's music on, we'd watch Michael Jackson documentaries. I couldn't have been a bigger supporter. When the documentary aired, I want to believe that all of this is made up. I want those stories to be lies. The level of detail, it's pretty confronting, isn't it?
It's horrible, but I do have to say, as graphic, as detailed as you can get. I mean, that's Hollywood sensationalism. They definitely pulled out a lot of techniques that Hollywood uses, and even in their marketing techniques. I mean, it's all psychological. The times and the days might be different. Technology might be different, but we humans are still wired the same. And these tactics are used over and over and over again. It's nothing new.
Do you still have a relationship with Paris and Blanket and his children, Autumn?
Of course I do.
Yeah. And are they?
Of course I do.
Are they really, really upset at the moment? Is it really bad for them?
I definitely think, they would let it be known if they wanted their however they felt about a situation. They would be tweeting about it, and they're staying away from it for a reason. So that's about it. That's all I can say.
Autumn, how often does the whole family get together, or say, Michael's brothers and sisters, Jermaine and everyone? Does that happen often, or is it hard to do?
Well, my father, he's living in south of France right now. So that's a little hard to do, but they are on tour. And so, there are different occasions where we all get together and have some fun, like old times.
Well, Autumn, it was confronting to watch. I don't want to believe any of it, to be honest, as a fan, although I was the level of detail left me questioning what actually happened. But we really appreciate your time.
I do appreciate you extending your platform to me. And if I can say one more thing,
Please.
I just want to thank all the family supporters out there doing every single thing they can to get the facts out. And I want to let them know that our voices will be heard. And, you asked me, what would I say to James and Wade?
Yep.
And I would say, where are you going to hide when the truth finally comes out? What are you going to do?
We really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks, Autumn.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Autumn. Bye-bye. Bye.